Okay, we're going live now, sir. Okay, perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. This is part two with him because the first one, he gave us so much information, we ran over time, and we wanted to make sure that we gave him enough time to explain his amazing life journey in the Nation of Islam. That's none other than Brother Joe out of New York. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, Brother Joe, first of all, I didn't get a chance. We didn't get, I'm still in the Savior's Day spirit. What are your thoughts on the Swan song? Like, how was your Savior's Day weekend?
Oh, it was beautiful, brother. The minister is, like I said, he always is amazing. And every time he speak and he started telling of the things he encountered, he opens up new spirit for me. You know, when he started saying, who's tired? You must be tired. You know, here's a man backed by two outstanding peoples, Master Farrakhan Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And everybody that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad raised was greatness came out of him. And everybody, when the minister rebuilt the nation, his disciples are great. Everybody that came behind him to help him are, extraordinary. You can't pick this one, that one, because all of them have different talents. You know, everybody in the nation. So, they say no rainbow is the same.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And everything is different about the minister. But what I love about the minister, that this was his longest speech, first of all. And it was amazing. That was like part one of Savior's Day and part two. He put it all in one. And me, myself, I wouldn't know how to describe such a man, but I could say one thing. When it was January 1993, when he came to the Armory in New York. I know it was about, I forgot the weather, but I know when he came, it was about 48 degrees and people was walking around without it, with no coat on. And when he left, it went back down to close to zero. I was better off having actual facts. And it shows you that how incredible this man is. And the swarm was, it was extraordinary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, speaking of seeing the minister speak for, I think the Swan song speech was almost 5 hours.
Yes,
to see him speak for so long, versus you knowing him since the 70s, back in the 70s, what is it like for you to see him go from Minister Louis X or Louis Farrakhan to the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan to now being on the Swan song all of these decades? What is it like for you to see him, grow like that?
Well, when he was in Cornell, when he came up to Cornell, I noticed that he didn't have no security. It was him and brother Wahid. And I think it was 1977, if I was right. But like I said, and just for him to travel up in Cornell while they was burning crosses, Allah had to be with him all the way. And for him to, when God is behind you, you do have strange power. When you get up and you say your prayers, like Muslim daily prayers are not to be taken for ordinary ritual. When you read that on page 9 in the prayer book, it says my Muslim daily prayers. It do say Muslim daily prayers. But if you're saying it, my Muslim daily prayers are not to be taken for ordinary ritual. Ordinary ritual is like good morning, even assalamu alaikum.
Yes,
so
sir.
if that's telling you that this is bigger than that, I must perform my prayer with the utmost sincerity and seriousness because it represents my maker, Almighty God Allah. So when you put your man's shoes in, when you put your foot in that man's shoes, or you try to challenge him, I think something's really wrong with you. When you try to learn what he is and to speak like him, the minister is incredible to go that long and speak. And it didn't seem like he was even tired. He even had to tell him, could I get a few minutes of your time? So he probably looked in the office and in the audience, and a lot of people fell asleep. And because you know how when the ministers speak, it's just so different. You feel it. You just come back energized, and you know how they say that Captain Yusuf Shah used to say that how you tell a Muslim is when he lives Islam, talks Islam, and that's all the minister's conversations about. So he said that you could sustain yourself in the mosque for 3 hours, 4 hours, and you could play Assalamu alaikum. But he said, but when you on the road for 8 hours and do overnight, and a lot of people could back up what I'm saying, then you say like, wow, and you really call yourself brother such and such? Because we changed. But see, he is such a dedicated man into, the minister from Mosque number 7, I used to say, do you ever sleep? Mm. The minister is incredible for the go around the world like he did, and his son Josh. I wouldn't even want to use his leg. I don't want to be on the E team, even if I had strong legs. How they, you know how when you used to train him to do something, he was born to be exactly who he is. And he said, this is his last speech, all praise to Allah. If it was up to me, give me 9 more years, give me 10 more years with him, give me 14 more years. I never want to see, but he would never, what he left us was a study guide, closing the gap. You could go on and look at the tapes, because I sell his tapes. And I always buy it, say, I bought me a 100, and now I got to order me another 100. So I got me 200 of the DVDs. And now a lot of people say I could watch it on that. And I said, this is what I use. I'm not trying to make them buy, but I said, like, brother, this is his longest speech. What's supposed you got guests? Supposed to snatch it off the air. Then what you got to do? You have nothing. His memories is beyond explaining. The minister is incredible. And I could go on and on when he talk about Jesus saved, and he said, sending our peoples over to war and begin to cry. I was watching 1975, and the minister, a lot of other ministers came on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I saw the same thing I saw in 72, 73, and 74, how the minister cried. He couldn't even, what he said about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he had to say is so incredible, man. The minister, I don't know what to say, brother. I just love him, that I know him, and I asked him one time, we was going to his wife's birthday, 80th birthday, and I said, Leroy, and you know what he said? Next time. And I said, could I take a picture? He said, sure, Brother Joe. And he never turned me down. He's always beautiful, and his wife is the same way. She was always there. And the way she are with children's and my grandson and other children's, man, you have to back this man. I wish I had the IQ with some of y'all with your sophisticated ears. I'm not worried for it, but I'm trying to express my love for him the best way I can. So I made part of myself, but he made all of me. So I could answer the question of why do I come to the mosque all the time. Being around giants like Yusuf Shah, First Officer Clarence, Richard Adex, and they was just some pound for pound guys. They'd just come to the mosque. They loved it when we had the take and shake, the march, to go door to door. The minister, he I don't know, brother. I could go on and on talking about him. You know, in Mississippi when he went there because they murdered a brother, hung him up in this cell, one of the followers, and it cried. I mean, he cried, but it rained for 3 weeks there. So you can't tell me who he is and what he represents. The minister is one of a kind. You know, they like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained that better than anybody. He said that he's like a star that's the minister, when he was telling, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was telling that to the minister, he didn't even understand, you know, but I really can't describe that, man.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, Brother Joe, thank you very much for your testimony. So many people are showing you love. Sister Carmen is bearing witness. My sister Miriam and Sister Naima both send the greetings, and everybody's saying all praise be to Allah. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. And everybody who's watching on Facebook and YouTube, please let us know what city you're from when I upload this, so that we can know, you know where you're from and where you're checking in from. Okay, Brother Joe, my next question for you is, speaking of 1975, you watching that Savior's Day, I watch it on YouTube, of them seeing the minister cry. What advice would you give to believers now who didn't experience the fall of the nation in 1975, but when the minister leaves, we have to face our own another trial? What advice would you give to everybody to keep their faith?
What he said that when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the tape is called "How Strong Is My Foundation," and he said when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was no longer in our midst, he said that Allah never left us for a fraction of a section. We left him. So we lost our faith. Now, if we got faith in him and not find God within ourselves, you know, like they say, like ain't no such thing down in a Muslim, like the minister said. He said, when you go down, keep it up attitude, and ain't no down could hold you down. So when that question that you asked me, say it one more time.
Yes, sir. What advice would you give to believers who have to face the reality of the minister leaving, who didn't go through it the first time? I mean, who didn't go through it prior to 75? What advice would you give to holding on to our faith?
Just look at like when you lost your mother or your uncle or your best friend, for they're not dead. So when you remember who the minister is and what he left you with, that's something to live off. Now, if you want to be a special event Muslim and you just coming to see him for Savior's Day and that, different story. But if you want to be, all you had to do, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us our steps when he was in our midst. He said, when you see him, look at him. And when he say go, go. When he say stay from. And the minister gave us the best advice that we could ever get to keep on going strong. And I'll say this to the bottom of my heart. That man, brothers asked me, why you come to the mosque? I said, I don't even know what to do with myself. So I could imagine, what do he have to say? I could imagine being around a man like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where he went to jail and his first wife played secretary and handled his business. We don't even know these are, and when Elijah Muhammad and Master Farrakhan Muhammad said, can I choose one? And he said that, I heard one of the disciples, you know, the 24 scientists said he would know you. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I know who you are. This is straight up reality. So when the minister leaves, he said, if what we doing now, we've been doing the same thing. If you ain't doing nothing now while he's here, you're going to be doing nothing while he's gone. So if we start, we should be doing more for him than anybody. And you know how you do more for him? The number one program, the number one bear of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I don't know the tape, but I heard the minister say one time, there's only one minister bigger than me. So it left us all inquisitive. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who is this? And he said, the final call. I can speak over here, but the paper is going all over the world. So when you think about the minister, you got to think about LA, Detroit. You got to think about the little small towns that got study groups. So whenever you look at Jesus, so they say what Jesus is, he breaks it down better. So whatever you could say, like Muslim daily prayers are not to be taken for ordinary rituals. When you could think about that man, we just got to think strong about ourselves. We got to have more confidence in ourselves. And if you need somebody to keep telling you to come to the mosque, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. If you go to work 4 hours, think about how much time do you spend at the mosque when it's open on Sunday for about 3 hours, and then sister class. And if you're not married, you should show up anyway. You should just be there. Maybe some sisters, when you win the sisters over, they might say, that brother's always here. I like that. So whenever you could come to the mosque much as possible, that's when you find God. Because when you don't come a lot, you become like they say, discipline is an honor. And being disciplined does not mean that I'm being punished, that I'm able to carry out my orders of my leadership when they're not present. Now, we're not just talking about the captain. We're talking about the Master Fra Muhammad set up this through the Honorable Lodge Imam. We're not talking about, we're talking about the orders that was given to us by God. My prayer, my sacrifices, all for Allah. So the brother said to me, how did he say it? He said, I said to him, I said that, oh Allah, I've been greatly unjust to ourselves. And I said that you must realize we are a sick generation. And just because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you stop listening to Master Fra Muhammad for a second, he could just go back. So if we stop listening to the minister, and most of all, God, because we our prayer, our sacrifice. So stop thinking that we know too much. He said, get behind him, not in front of him. So I'm not going to say like what I learned was through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why I say all praise to the Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And when the nation was done with, through it, a lot of people went into, I wanted to say it, but mental institution, everything, because we were so key with Elijah, but we forgot all about God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He says discipline is an honor, and being disciplined that not mean that you're being punished, that you're able to carry out your orders of your leadership when they're not present. When you have learned those things, you have supreme discipline, the kind that save lives and win battles. So if we go after our peoples, we gotta look what the minister did with the peoples. The minister stayed strong, brother. And look what you're doing, brother. I mean, remember I introduced you to Joe Hammond? I'm going to try to get a hold of Earl of Pearl, these, and Tiny Archie, but these are people I know.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
used to be a scouter, so I was able to meet them. And they named the gym after Tiny Archibald. And Tiny Archibald was a track star. I don't know if you know that. He used to run track. Couldn't play ball to his brother Monk, but I don't mean to switch the conversation, but I apologize. But like I was saying, we have to be strong into what gets us up is how would you know what the nation is about if you only come out twice a week? How would you even understand it? But you following such a man, you following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, if you just come out. So when you come to the mosque and you handle, we're not perfect. Yes, we're going to rub each other and do this and that, but you can't find no stronger nation nowhere else. So when you come to the mosque and then the brother said, hold post, and then you get all bent out of shape, that's what happened. You go to a gym and you don't come to practice, they're going to bust you up. So if you really want to get good, you just say, well, I ain't quitting. So I bet you the same guy busting you up say, oh, I like this. This man is tough. Can you imagine the minister live with Malcolm? You know, he might say a couple of things about Malcolm, but he said that when you went against the messenger, he said, wait a minute now. So the minister told us his inner life, man. And we all got what you call a black box, but the minister broke it down to us very well. I remember he had all from Clarence 13 up there. He had all of them up on the walls that talked against him. And guess what? He gave them all their prop. So the minister, we just got to be strong. We got to get strong now. Now is the time.
Yes, sir. All praise due to Allah. Brother Carlton Muhammad says, go ahead, brother. He's Carlton from Mosque number 26 in Oakland. Praise be to Allah. Thank you very much for watching. My sisters, all praise be to Allah. And everybody continue to show you love on Facebook. My next question. Yes, sir. My next question is, you speak highly of Mother Farrakhan, as many people do who have been blessed to know her. And you also, when I speak to you on the phone, you always talking about your wife this, your wife that. How important has Mother Farrakhan been as a wife to the minister to make you want to, show love to your wife in your life?
Well, she's like, if you really want to know more about her, look at how she set up the children's village. Everybody might want to have a workshop here, a workshop here. So our children want to have fun. I love my grandchildren. And just to see them, he had his little cast on. He was just doing this. I said, man, you can't get up there on that. And he said, come on, Grandpa. And you heard Jeffrey made it. Jeffrey said, we're going to fall, trip, and all that, but we still, and she's just a beautiful person, brother. And I always try to challenge her. I said, brother Larry, and she'll name all the lieutenants, so it was a mismatch, but I love the ground she walks on and the minister walks on. And just to have a family that could produce that makes me feel so good, and just to be in her presence and still could say assalamu alaikum. And you don't know, I love that picture of her and my grandson and me, and then I love it with my wife. We was vending one day, and she said, you come back with a picture. I had a picture of me and the minister on the phone. She said, so there goes sister, the minister's wife, sister, oh boy, my mind is full. Khadijah, thank you, bro. Thank you. And she said, that ain't fair. That ain't fair. So I had to go over there and say, she's Khadijah. So I'm doing some job. I said, come on, please. And I remember Sister Karima was there. I said, Sister Karima, please. Just, I didn't say nothing. What's the name? She said, all right, come on, Brother Joe. And that made my day too, So, and then after that, I saw her and my grandson. That's the minister's wife. Then he had the nerve to tell her, I never met the minister. And she looked at me, Brother Joe. And I said, just put me on the spot, You know how the children's are, because my grandson, when they took first place in the drill competition, Owen and them took third place, New York. And he walking like this, talking about, come on, step aside, champs coming through. And me, myself, I said, come on, stop this. And Alton told me, please leave him alone. He said, this is how they roll, Joe. And you'd be surprised. So I could never say, you could say, oh, Joe this, Joe this. And I said, brother, I got about this much knowledge, because after I read in the Holy Quran, if all the oceans were ink and all the trees were pen,
yes, sir.
But he didn't say a tub full of ink or a lake. He said oceans. So I love the thing of Mother Khadijah. It's just for her to be around such a man and hear the stories how his school friend, and stay that way, you know.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. But Brother Joe, I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all
Yes,
of the
sir.
sponsors of the People's Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Let me get to the top. This edition, and I want to thank everybody who continues to like, share, subscribe. We are grateful for every sponsorship and every donation that we get anonymously. We're extremely great. Today we have my sisters have called the marathon, where I do multiple interviews in a day. So stay tuned. If you would like to be a sponsor or donor, please Cash App the People's Podcast on Cash App. Thank you very much. Also, we're starting with my brother Rashad, Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please get both of those books. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studios in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Raw Communications. If you're working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Raw Communications. Also, Fashion Gods, Urban Streetwear for men and boys, 314-329-6009. Please reach out to him. He'll keep you fresh with the best of clothes. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad out of Austin, Texas, squashing the conflict mediation. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad. Please get her book, Children of the Most High, The Science of God, the Child, I'm gonna make sure, Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Also, Sister Sherry Muhammad, AsiaticMinds.com. She teaches virtually STEM to young kings and queens all across the country, AsiaticMinds.com. Brother Kenneth, Bowtie Maker Extraordinaire, he'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Thank you all very much. Right back to our Brother Joe. And thank you, everybody who's in the comments. Continue to showing us love. Okay, Brother Joe, my next question is, last time we spoke about your relationship with Captain Yusuf Shah, Captain Amina Rasul, but what about in the rebuilding of the nation and being in New York? What was it like when Dr. Khalid came to New York?
It was really good because he could bring the peoples out, and he had that. Khalid. It's hard to get security to keep up with him. Sometimes he want to walk alone. He just had that kind of, Khalid was Khalid, and the minister knows him better because he said he's like a stallion. If you don't know how to ride him or just, when you were around him, I was almost the type to just quiet and learn from him because I had a young brother with me by Jared, and he said that he said, why didn't you take him with Captain Dennis? I said, because he's new. And he said, no, he dressed good. You train him up. So the information he gave me, Jared wanted to be a top seller, to go down to the last stop of the E train and sell all his papers. And he said that you got a lot of talented brothers. I used to work in the process class with them. And Khalid was one of a kind. I don't never want to say where he went wrong, because that's not my role, but Khalid was a beautiful brother, and he was straight up warrior. He was a warrior, and that's the bottom line. The minister said at one time, I can't remember the speech, so I'm not going to elaborate it, but he said, if you don't know how to rise, Khalid, and Khalid was one of a kind, because he was just Khalid,
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay, well, I didn't know about the processing class. When you were teaching the processing class, Brother Joe, what's one of the main things that you want somebody who has the zeal to join the nation? What's one of the main things that you teach them?
It was really, be honest with you, it was the final call. And a lot of brothers will say you're supposed to wait till they get their X. But I figured that like when you take them out there and say, this is what kind of challenge you're going to be dealing with, your peoples. And that got them more ready because I had a lot of brothers didn't have their ex, but they were good in selling papers and they knew how to sell it together. And I told them their homework was learning what the Muslims want. Because I said when we had the paper, in the back of Muhammad's speech was, these are the questions most frequently asked by white and black. The answer to the question, I said, I'll state as simple as possible. We want freedom and full and complete freedom.
Yes,
we
sir.
want
Yes,
justice
sir.
applied equally to all. So that was good. And then I said that a lot of times people's going to say that, how come y'all don't let white folks in the black? So I pointed to where it was at and would say, since we cannot get along with them after giving them 400 years of our sweat and blood and receiving in return some of the worst contribution they have ever experienced, we believe that our suffering forced upon us by white America justified for complete separation. So I said, instead of somebody asking you about the Muslim, go to that, learn that, so you can answer it better instead of making up something in your own way. You can answer it more better by the way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because he gave us ammunition.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
when
sir.
we used to go out there with the paper, then you had those that couldn't sell papers, but they knew how to, sister, do you want that number? Or brother, do you want us to deliver that paper? And if we ever start documenting it, it won't be a flyby. The day we sold a lot of papers, because we had door to door in the earlier days. We went, knocked on, I had me 2 books of customers for the fish, and Ramza said always call their house to let them know when you're coming over. And he said, ask them, do they want anything from the drugstore, the grocery store, the supermarket, or whatever. And I said, man, I got to do all that. He said, don't worry about it. I'm showing you how to be friends with older people. They'll get you more customers. Stop worrying about that. And it was true. So when you had 7 customers in the projects, you had a lot going for you because you're bringing them something and you're being a service to your peoples. And you're supposed to work hard on them because they might be in this condition or that condition, but our peoples are one of a kind. I don't even know how to describe them, whether we on our job or not, but stop judging what condition they are. They're special, because I like to play oldies but goodies, and sometimes I had to turn it off because they be trying to get a little too loose out there in front of the table, you know what I mean? But our people love music, and I love music too because Cool in the Game was Muslims, and
yes, sir.
they
Yes,
sung
sir.
the song Heaven at Once, and so I love. I forgot what you asked me, boy. You know my mind. I have a habit of switching conversations.
Oh no, yes, sir. I was talking about the process in class, and you answered the question very well.
Yeah, and then the thing about it, my bait was to get them. I had Sister Elizabeth that's in Atlanta now. Brother Ed was married to her at the time, and I had frozen fish, so all I had to do was buy the cabbage and the rice, and I give her the frozen fish, and she only charged me $40. It was 30, 40 people's, and she had baked the fish, so we had baked chicken. So as the brothers was eating, and they had the toast, and then I said, brother, what you doing coming here to the dinner? And he said, I'm coming to eat. So no, you're not. You don't come out with us selling papers. And then the part where Minister Conrad came in at, he used to give them their props. So he would say, the process brothers went out and sold this. And you know how you handle the process class is very important because the bait that you use, so they used to, you ever notice something when you sit and eat with brothers and sisters and show brotherly love? And then not just that, they had a bear witness class. So I used to ask Minister Neville, his name was Hakeem, but he was Minister Nelson at the time. And I used to ask Brother Hop, how do they open up? So I used to take it home, and my wife used to type it up. So they had different ways to open up. What have Islam done for you? So that kind of made them, and I can name so many of them now. Brother Simon, brother Brother Khalil, Brother Terrell. These were top sellers. They were so good. Brothers from Brooklyn said, "Brother, I don't go to Brooklyn because I guess that's a more crowd on Fulton Avenue." And I couldn't say no. You got to wait till you graduate. And they wound up reciting, getting their X, and it was a beautiful thing with the process class because I kind of loved it, that working with them, the new brothers,
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And Sister Anichi Taylor says, teach us, beloved. Praise be to Allah. People showing you love on Facebook. Thank you. Okay, yes, sir. My next question for you, sir, is we spoke about Pride of 75, leading all the way up to the Swan song. Now that you are a grandfather and you've lived an amazing life, what brings you the most joy out of your time in the nation? What brings you the most joy?
Being able to learn what I did from the nation and take it to the streets. Like I had basketball, I had football, boxing, karate, you name it, I had it because I had 136. And what gave me the most joy, which I'm going to do it this summer, is when I was going, I said, I'm going to get a team. And my father said, where you going? I said, I'm going to go to Webster Project, because that's Claremont. That's where top ball players came out. Arnold Duggar, Weed, top ball players. So I think so, but they had a reputation. So he said that, so you going to get a team. He said, no, when you played for the Church of the Masters, did you try out? I said, no, I was put on the team. So he said, so why would you want the children that can't play ball, that want to play ball? He said, they let them play ball. Maybe they're a boxer. Maybe they're good at karate. He said, they're good at something. He said, maybe they could. And I used to work at the Apollo, so I used to like to hear them sing. So how I used to get the top singers was you ask the neighborhood. So when you ask the neighborhood could sing, especially when a project, because it's just more peoples, not that they're no different. But when you ask them, they'll say, Betty, she in that choir, and she had a voice. I mean, these little chubby sometimes, but they had a voice. And then the little guys have voices too, because they actors. Children, when you show them something, I was showing my grandson something, and I said, well, I got to spend more time there. I didn't do this for my own children. I did more for when I was doing that. So I didn't realize that until my grandson was talking to one of the guys that I taught how to play ball. And he was like, his name was Moogie Moog. He was like, see, you got to swim like that. And my grandson, since he was able to meet Tiny Archibald, he found a liking. See, children are curious. When I talk about basketball, he know more about it than that. No, that's what's the name. No, what's the name of these? This generation is something else, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
What I learned the most is through the children's. That's where your energy comes. The way through a nation is through a child. And the minister said, if we take our time and look at the young, and you know who did that and showed me a lot about that? Minister Kareem, brother, Sister Jonna's husband, Kareem. And I remember that minister came in March number 7, and he said, Brother Joe, where is Kareem's picture at? I said, Minister Conrad took it down, and he said, go get the picture. So he said, I didn't know. He said, I don't want the picture. Let him bring down the picture. So I went back and got the picture. He said, that brother helped me start the mosque in New York, Kareem. And you put his picture down, and that picture's up to this day. If somebody take the picture down, I said, I'm going to call the minister. You go ahead. I'm going to call, that picture is still there because Kareem, and then when he came to FY class after he was not longer captain, it was brother Tyreek, and they had a couple of brothers going to college. So he said, oh, hell, y'all going to at least get these brothers $500 to go away. And he got up that money, and everybody loved, but it was the motivation he had for the children's. And when you show them something, see, if we spend more time with our children, they'll listen more to whatever they're, because I used to teach them how to box or ball. Then I said, like, you can't play, right? He said, why? Because you're not messing up with the grade. All you have to do is keep your mouth shut. When I talk to the teacher, you got this way. They have their ways, but we so busy want to hit them. And I learned, so much. I don't want to tell you the story of what happened to my grandson. And it's Owen, Hello, can you see me?
No, sir, your camera went out. We're right here with you.
No, because you know what it is? Somebody's calling me and I'm not answering the phone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all good.
So I'm going to have to, is it back in?
Yes, sir, okay, right here with you.
When the camera, I'm seeing the number, that's out of the question. And what happened goes to show you at one time, he's 15 now, and I think he was about 9, that my mind, that I would have to tell that to what I experienced. My grandson, he was acting up, and I guess I was being some sick grandfather, I would call, because I said that you like getting whippings, and he said, no, I don't. And then when I got up there and had the belt, and he said, could I say a prayer, grandfather? And I said, go ahead. And I guess I was challenging God, because I said that you could pray to whoever you want to pray to, you're still going to get it. And he said, God, he said that I'm not a freak for whippings. Help me out. I have a problem. And I don't know, everything started shaking. My whole body went to something. The belt dropped, and I sat down, and these are words I use, excuse my slang. I said, I can't do this shit no more. I can't. I called my daughter and said, you do it yourself. And it was something that came over my body. It had to be God. So when I even went to bed, I was just feeling that this is not going to work. I can't, because then as I'm asleep, he said that you whipped him like a slave. This is something talking to me. I guess it had to be God.
Yes, sir.
He said when you rode the back of the bus, you got the ironing cord. So I said, but I had a belt. He said, what's the difference? He's 9 years old and you whipping his naked butt. Man, I was just saying, I didn't say that then, but I remember it. I said, I'll never touch a child. Not with, if I would love him and explain to him if I can't change him. And then it said, I just thought of something, that you go to work for 8 hours and he go to school for whatever time he go. So as he's in school, he changes or picks up habits. We all follow, whether we're good follow or bad follow.
Yes, sir.
Somebody say they ain't a follow, or you could say, well, okay, I'm buttoning my shirt. Let me see you button your shirt in a different way. Let me see you zip up your zipper a different way. We all follow it, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing.
Yes, sir.
So working with children, if we just spend the time to share with them, because we are so opposite from what we're supposed to do, that the children are having children, and I'm right there, we're on the corner, and the 2-year-old coming by, and the girl is talking to her like she's, and I say to the girl, come on, that baby was that young. I had to wait till she calmed down. I said, I thought that she was talking to a 10-year-old. And not that I went into her or taught anything, but she respects me. But I had to wait till she calms down. And I said, man, it's just a child. It's just still learning, and children's going to be children, but how they said in the message in the Bible, behold, I will send you Elijah. He would turn back the hearts of the children. We should, that at the time I had it, is more needed now. We all against our children, and we got to start looking up to children, man. And what you're doing is one of a kind, brother. And you have to excuse me, because I remember I was in Minister Cass with Minister Hop, and then he said that Brother Joe's he said, put on your helmet and your seatbelt. He gonna switch conversation. You ask him one thing, he go to somewhere else. But we all have problem uncontrol. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We're not perfect.
Yes, sir. Okay, Roberto, last time I get a chance, and thank you everybody who continues to like, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. Brother Joe, I didn't get a chance to ask you last time about Minister Abdul Hafiz, the late great minister of Mosque Number 7. And
Wow.
can you give us a story about him?
Wow, I can give you a whole story. First of all, he has some strange energies. If you tell him somebody wants you to speak in a church or school, he was there. And when somebody want to get married, he had this gift about that. And I hate to say it, funerals. We could go there all sad. After he finished, we feel happy. He said, I don't know how you feel. Look how the hell I feel. But damn it, he said, you know, he had this words of saying that was so right on time. And our feast, like we was playing it, our feast said like, oh, bro, Joe, I got these big hands. I said, I don't care. It's just his spirit. it's just his spirit, our feast. And he said that, I love you, Brother Joe. Always say, I love you. You know, we say that to each other.
Yes, sir.
And his wife said to me, he said, you know why he loved you, Brother Joe? He said that upstairs it was cold. The heat don't run right. So he'll call me, and since I was at the mosque most of the time, he said, Brother Joe, turn the heat on, please. And he said, like, boy, once you turn that heat on, because we didn't have where it monitors itself. We had to turn it off and hardly nobody, but he was always there in study group. I never knew a minister that spent more time, and he got busted in Brooklyn. But I wouldn't say crawl back, come back. He was a comeback man. And for the minister to say what he said about me made my day, you know, because our feast was one of the kind, you know. And we used to go to outings and we played football. Even though he threw a lot of interception. but I was getting on the other team. I said, Hafiz, you got to stop this. I'm going to get on it. He said, go ahead. And then he get on that team. Then I get on the other. You know, it was just Hafiz was Hafiz. Right? Hafiz was Hafiz, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, he was a very spiritual person. He would say, close the door. Then he said, like, my parking spot, get my parking spot. How y'all let him get in my parking spot? I said, brother, we can't be outside. You know, that was our feast. Our feast always kept us happy. That's one thing about him.
All praises to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, Brother Joe, some people are showing you love, and I want to make sure that I thank you on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for your sacrifice, Brother Joe, and the sacrifices of your family, because we thank Allah for the work that you helped to establish Islam here in the West, and we stand on your shoulders, Brother Joe. We thank Allah for you and your family, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. And I want to thank everybody who watched. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. May Allah continue to bless you and your family, Brother Joe.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.